Hi there, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about the topic of searching for cures or for treatments for different illnesses or diseases. In our modern society, there have been a lot of charity organizations that have been created to theoretically or at least ostensibly be there to seek out cures or treatments and to provide resources for people with different illnesses or diseases. These types of organizations are often seeking donations, looking for ways to raise money, and a couple methods they do this is to invite the public to participate in events such as a run for the cure or a walk for the cure. So people are doing something athletic or physical and asking for donations to support them in this particular effort. So it's kind of a feel-good activity. People get to go out and walk or run or dance or swim or whatever the activity might be. And when they do that, they've had people pledge support to them through financial donations. And those donations go to these charity organizations that are telling the public that we're helping seek or search for cures. We're trying to help people who are diagnosed with these particular conditions. It all sounds good on the surface. Unfortunately, there's other layers to this, other realities that we need to consider to decide if what we're putting our energy and time into is really serving the purpose that we are told it is. Many of these organizations are very much connected to the establishment of the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. They receive a lot of financial support from those sources. And if we think about it, an ordinary person giving $5 or $10 or $20 to a cause is pretty insignificant relative to a pharmaceutical company that might be able to contribute 5, 10, or 20 million to a particular organization. So the average person may have less influence over the direction of those charitable organizations than those very large sponsors or donors do. In practice, the majority of those types of organizations will tend to censor or suppress the availability of knowledge about the various conditions that people are seeking help with. So, for example, if you were to look at a cancer research organization, the information that they put out and the research that they may fund tends to be quite limited, focused to a great extent on seeking pharmaceutical treatments, and to a great extent ignoring other approaches, various forms of holistic and alternative medicine, whether it's energetic or frequency-based healing methods, spiritual or psychological healing methods, or various natural remedies, herbs and nutrients and diet, things that aren't patented but which have been used successfully by thousands or millions of people to treat or quote-unquote cure their illnesses. There are actually millions of people using these alternative methods successfully, so they're actually applying these very real cures for their illnesses or diseases, and yet the medical establishment and the various charitable organizations that are out there looking for support and finding cures are not letting the public know about these things. So, in a sense, rather than walking for the cure or running for the cure, these organizations are guiding people to walk or run away from the cures that already exist. This is something that we have to really honestly and realistically consider. If we want to really find cures, we can't have information centered. We can't have people telling us not to look at or explore certain reports or information that are out there. We need to really have an uncensored approach to be able to consider all forms of information that are available to us and to draw our own conclusions, to make up our own minds, to not be shepherded or herded by those who have a very narrow mindset or a very limited approach to things. These organizations that are out there seeking cures have often become like businesses. Even though they are nonprofits, they're raising a lot of money, and a lot of people and institutions are, in a sense, profiting from those funds. So there are people who are on the administration of those organizations. So people are being paid salaries to work for these organizations. And then much of the funds are being used toward various purposes, whether it's advertising, community outreach, or money given to pharmaceutical companies to assist in whatever research efforts they're engaged in. So that money is going to various recipients. For those that are looking for information about different illnesses or diseases, we have a really wonderful resource in the internet where you have the power to search things out, to see all the information that is truly available, not just what one particular organization or institution is promoting or telling you about. So it's, in a sense, a democratic resource where you choose what you consider to be valuable or important for you. It's not a dictatorship where you are forced to only look at one choice or a few choices or options. All that information is out there, and you need to exercise your own discernment to carefully and consciously consider what's available. What are the motives and agendas of the different resources that are presenting information? So you may find patient support groups or forums where everyday people are sharing their own experiences. They're doing that out of the desire to just help and inform others. They may not be trying to sell any product. They may not be trying to raise funds for any particular research. They're just sharing their own experience in the hope that that may provide some support or assistance to other people. There are many books that are out there, many websites presenting free information. So you have the power to educate yourself. You don't need to spend a lot of money to access this information. You don't need to run or walk a mile to gather it. It's really right there at your fingertips. So if we're looking for cures, we may not need to go far. We may not need to put a lot of money out there to assist in that effort. In many cases, there are very valuable cures, successful forms of treatment that are already there. And this is the case for just about any type of disease or illness. that you may have heard of, from things like autism and Alzheimer's to cancer, diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune illnesses, mental illnesses. For all these various disorders or disabilities that people may be suffering from, there is hope. There are resources that can help. And in looking for them, we want to consider multiple levels or layers. Sometimes there are things of a very physical or biochemical nature that we can use. Sometimes there are resources that address things more on an energetic level or more on a subconscious or spiritual level. We can recognize that consciousness really underlies or informs much of what we're experiencing, including all these different aspects of our physical health. So the different stresses, the different psychological pressures and conflicts that we experience have an impact on the functioning of our physical body. So many of the cures are actually things that exist within our own consciousness. When we're able to shift something in our consciousness, then the physical expression will change as well. This is often referred to as mind-body healing or mind-body medicine. Of course, the pharmaceutical industry isn't producing that type of a treatment or product. It's only focusing, in most cases, on a biochemical form of treatment, and synthetic chemicals at that. So if there's something that exists in nature that can't be controlled by a company, if it's a food, an herb, if it's sunlight or fresh air or clean water, there isn't a company out there that's selling that to us for some ridiculous price. Those are things that we can often access very affordably. And the same thing with consciousness, with our own mind and emotions. We have the power to shift and transform those just by changing our own thinking or beliefs, by learning to let go of the emotional burdens that we've been carrying, the different stresses or anxieties that we may be carrying within us. As we're able to tap into some form of higher consciousness, some spiritual essence or intelligence that will bring us a new awareness, we're often able to heal ourselves. We may have been experiencing some illness or symptoms for a very long time, and then we have some shift in consciousness, some epiphany that we come to, and then rather rapidly that particular condition or illness begins to go away. This is a reminder of how powerful our own consciousness is. To a great extent, we are creating our own states of health or disease. We're usually not doing so consciously, but that subconscious or unconscious part of our awareness is what's governing our physical, our biochemical state. So as we're able to shift things on that subconscious level, then our body will transform. This includes just about every common illness or condition that people may be experiencing. So if you are looking for a cure, often the cure is really something within you, something that you can shift or access within yourself, within your own higher nature. It doesn't require walking a mile, running a mile, sending money to anyone, to any organization. It doesn't require traveling 100 miles to some special doctor. It's something that every human being on the planet has access to. if we recognize that we are all spiritual beings and we are all connected to the same universal consciousness or spiritual source, then if there's just one single person out there who has healed or cured themselves of any particular condition, that tells us that everyone else theoretically could access that same potential. We all have the power to cure ourselves. We just may be separated from the understanding, from the information, from the tools or resources that may be applied to create that result. But eventually we may be able to access that, especially if we open our minds, if we expand our consciousness, if we're willing to explore all the information that's available to us. So let's all take this time to explore, to learn more, to really truly believe that the cures are already there. They already exist somewhere, whether it's within our own being or with some resources that nature has provided to us. We may not have to go far to find a cure. I would like to take this time now to appreciate each of you, to thank you for taking your time to view this video, for having the desire to learn and expand your consciousness, for having the faith and trust that healing is not far away, that our health and wholeness are something that are naturally available to us. For anyone looking to learn more about these topics, holistic health, natural healing, and spirituality, I invite you to visit my website at www.phinsights.com. You may be especially interested in the links and educational resources page on that website, for there are numerous references there, links to other websites, lists of different books and information sources to address really a full spectrum of our health and wellness concerns. So chances are you will find something there that will lead you toward the answers or information that you may be seeking. For now, I want to wish everyone a wonderful day. Namaste.